Welcome! My name is Verth, and you guys are about to see my most ambitious project in Minecraft I've ever started. This world is going to be a massive harbor port town, and I have just gotten started with the main shipyard area here. I want to take you guys through, show you how this world started, how I got here, the steps I had to take to get here, and what it takes to create a survival world of your own that takes everything from your imagination and puts it right into the game. I hope you guys enjoy because we're about to get started right from the beginning. Well, we start this world off just like any normal Minecraft world, except the first tree that I break has absolutely no wood, which is strange. But we're focused, okay? We're getting wood, we're doing our thing, we understand the goal. The goal is to find a place to live. And I gotta figure that out quick. So I'm getting a little wood. Ooh, look at that. Already made the wooden pick. As soon as I get those 3 cobble, I'm a man of efficiency. We're making that into a stone pick. Proceeding. Getting some more cobble. Obviously, gotta get a little furnace ready. Hey, get a little axe. You know. At this point, I'm moving along. I'm saying, hey, I've got to find a dang village. Are you serious? And to my very surprise, I turn the corner, and what do I see? A village. Oh, exactly. Yes. I saw a village. And so I decided I've got to get over there. I've got to find some people to steal, some villagers to breed, some trades to make, maybe, and maybe even some security to fight off. Because that's the kind of guy I was feeling like this day. I made my way into the village, and I ransacked. I took everything that they had. Not everything. I left one furnace, you know. Thought it got pretty cold out here. Then I decided I needed some iron. And this guy, oh man, it was in his name. Oof, ooh, ah, eek, ouch, ow, ooh, ow. And that was my iron. Now, whenever I'm going through a village, if it's my first village I've seen, I am trying to make sure I get as many crops as possible. This was probably the worst crop plot that I had ever seen in a Minecraft village. So I was a little bit disappointed, but we got everything that we needed. All I cared about was potatoes, some carrots, and some seeds. And we got that. So we are good to get out of here and find a new home. No. That was my plan. Before I saw these two mucking about in the powdered snow and had to save them. I did need some villagers. I told you guys I wanted some trades to make later on, so. Now you're both stuck. I was upset. I didn't want them to die. So I saved their cute butts.
Silly, silly.
I kept making my way until I found this really pretty area. I was like, oh, finally, a little bit of peace and quiet away from the snow, getting out of the cold. I need to build a little house here. So I did. Check it out. Boom! That is my starter house. I was thinking, yeah, want to go OG Minecraft style, do some cobblestone and oak. I did it because it's all I had and I hated it. And I made more with it. I made this house, and I like the shape. I plan to go back and redesign the outside, make it look all nice. I didn't end up doing that. But I did make this nice little villager breeder in here. Got a little lever to turn it on and off. That's why the one villager is trapped in the small box while the others are in the farm area. But as you can see, I started getting a lot of villagers. And so I needed to use them for something. And I had a plan for them. And I exacted this plan to make a lovely iron farm to fulfill all of my iron desires. I then went to the nether. It was the next thing to do. I ended up in this crazy spot in the basalt deltas. Zombies were getting in because my portal was outside like a big dummy. My portal's still outside, if I'm honest. But when I was here, I looked to the left and I saw, oh, Could that be a fortress in the distance? Mind my way over there. Don't look at me, Magma Slime. I mind my way over there and found the Nether Fortress. It was then time to get my pearls and rods from these guys. So I got my rod from these dudes. I got my warped forest action going on to get some ender pearls as well. And I'm not going to show it, but this is what happened. I went to the end after finding the end portal. You can tell it's the end because it looks like the end. But as you can see, there was a dragon terrorizing this area. So your boy, that's me, yeah, right there. Your boy came in hot, and I started destroying stuff, going poof, oh, poof, poof, and then poof, poof, to the dragon as well. So I knocked that sucker out of here. And right after that, I used a little portal to go through into a end city dimension area. And I found one of those little end cities. And what did it have on it? It had a little ship. So what happened? But your homeboy came in. That's him again. That's me. And I went, doo doo doo. I want some shulkers. I got the shulkers. I got so many shulkers. It was sweet. And then I pillared up. I looted the heck out of that little ship, and I got me a reward. A reward of some wings. I used these wings to fly out and find this lovely little swamp area. And what did I see? I saw a witch's hut. I said, oh my gosh, I haven't had a witch hut farm in any of my worlds. That's going to be a farm. Boom. Look at this. Little baby, like, tiny farm. But it works real well. You'll see more of it later. I then decided, man, I really did like that house shape and the way that I had the villager breeder designed inside of it. So I redesigned it and put it on top of a mountain out here. I saw some really cool mountain areas over here that I was like, oh, this could make for a really cool build site. So I started the build of my actual house now in an area that I liked, and we can see now that it's done. This is Starter Home 2.0. Coming around the outside, I'll give you a quick tour just so you understand where we're at here. I put a super smelter inside, got 10 furnaces smelting, so getting 10 times the rates that you normally would. Have our input at the top and our fuel at the bottom. Make sure that it's nice and stocked up on some coal. Got some anvils there. And then this little area over here. As you saw in the former house, we have that villager breeding area up top. But what it's set up to do is to grab one of these villagers, bring it to this lab area. The villager is then transformed, zombified. I'm able to then bring him into a rejuvenation area to then get cleansed properly without having to touch him. I like the design. I think it's fun. You can see here, built up a little bit more around the villager breeder area. Got some actual designated spots for some of these guys. And overall, I was just really happy with this kind of starter build to get ready for some of the more intricate ones that are going to be coming up. But now that you guys are here, we are all caught up. So before anything starts, we have a few things that we have to get ready for this build. I want as much water breathing as possible for building the outside portion of the dock that's underwater. So I got myself a turtle cap before any of this started. I then came over, terraformed this land, made sure it was nice and flat to put the docks in. I then made sure to prepare everything so that we could get both a conduit and a beacon. So I took about an hour and a half. You'll see all the bones and the coal that I got. I didn't even get all of the bones picked up that I was receiving. But I got all of the wither skulls. Definitely going to try to build a farm in the future. I got the wither skulls needed to beat the wither, get a beacon. Also found some buried treasure. Found the buried treasure map. So going to be using that to find a Heart of the Sea. Get ready for that. That's going to be our first goal here. I went back, I grabbed my map, and we were off. Honestly, it is shocking how easy it is to find buried treasure when you have Elytra and you can just fly around. I so quickly was able to just fill out this entire map, which, let me mention by the way, is perfect. Since we're going to be having a bunch of different ships around the port, there's definitely going to be some pirates. And pirates love having treasure maps aboard their ships. So having some of these as decoration and actually filling them out does serve a purpose for me in the future. But as we loop around back, I was going to the spot where X marked. And I said, hey Spot. I've got Aqua Affinity. Get ready for it. Look at that. And then I looted my spoils, found my Heart of the Sea, and for some reason took everything out of the chest individually before then breaking the chest. So taking it out individually was purposeless. But anyways, we get the map, we get the treasure, we go home, and it's time to store everything away. Now, on to the next step of the conduit. And what is that next step? That next step is to find an ocean monument and steal a bunch of prismarine so that we can power that conduit. But to ensure my safety and that I'll actually be able to get some prismarine, I want to make sure that the door strategy to get air still works. Now, does the door strategy still work? Oh yeah, door strat works, dude. Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate you letting me know. So, because door strat worked, I was going to this tree and I was gonna take every bit of oak that it could give me. I'm making so many oak doors because it is time to breathe underwater using weird physics. Aha, there it is. I knew it was by here. After searching for a little bit, we found it. I knew it was next to my offshore mushroom biome. So I flew around. I have 2 mushroom biomes. I checked each one. There's a couple of temples around my base area. So we found this one, and we dived in. Honestly, as you'll see in the initial part here, I didn't have any mining fatigue. I could have just started mining prismarine and then left. But I chose violence. Or did the violence choose me? So after ripping and tearing through all of the children of the Elder Guardians, it was time to use Door Strat and go into the battle. I battled this guy long and hard, and I was scared. As you'll see, I ran away almost immediately. But then I went right back into the fight, taking care of this sucker. I said, hey bud, you know, I don't like your mining fatigue and the way that you're making me so tired. So I had to put him down. I then proceeded to put down his babies and find his brother to finally put him down as well. I said, give me back to my door after I grabbed a sponge. I hung out in the door and then I found the other guardian. I said, it's your time, son. Come here. After 2 brothers were dead, I decided it's time to find this last guy. But I couldn't find him. So I put all my senses together and I felt through the ocean temple to find his location. Having pinpointed the final of the Elder Guardians, I directed my way straight to where he was at. Once I did this, I was able to get all the prismarine to power my conduit, and I would be a happy lad. I ended up mining my prismarine after waiting in a door for my mining fatigue to wear off. I mined up the gold. I wanted to make sure you guys knew I wasn't leaving the gold behind. I did leave the sponges. I couldn't find the sponge room. A little embarrassing. A little bit embarrassing. But I wasn't focused on the sponges right now. I was focused on the prismarine and getting my conduit up, baby. So we headed out of here, and it was time to fly right back to base. Returning home, an unexpected wave of emotions started to run over me. I realized I had no Nautilus shells. And Nautilus shells were necessary to be able to actually craft the conduit. So what started to happen was I went through the 4 stages of a drowned farm. So watch closely as we document this unprecedented case. Well, after getting the Heart of the Sea and the Prismarine, I am now coming to realize I'm probably gonna need a drowned farm. Probably gonna need a drowned farm. I'm pretty sure though, at the old base here, I have one. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm really gonna need to make a drowned farm. Oh. Well, I need to scout out an area for a new drowned farm. Shoot. Man, I drowned. So after accepting the reality of the situation, I took a day away, and then I went out to find a river. River. As you can tell, I found one. And I immediately started scouting out the dimensions of the river to make sure that my farm would actually be able to fit in the area. So I had my little F3 menu out, was checking everything out, seeing my biome up there, still in the river. And since I had to make sure that the drowned farm stayed in the river, I took some blocks and made an outline of it so that I could actually see where the borders of the biome were at. It ended up working out real nice too. Oh wow, perfect 64. That's pretty. Okay. After making myself giggle, I decided to lock back in. I said that guy that keeps making me lose focus, he needs to calm down, chill out. So I started pillaring up to where I needed to go. It was like super high, like 200 blocks tall. And I think maybe it was the altitude, maybe it was still reeling about the drowned farm, but I started to kind of lose it a little bit up here. All right. Well, okay. These things happen. I can't get too bunched into bits about it. But you know what we can do? We can make a beautiful drowned farm. Absolutely gorgeous. Look at her go. This one's my my doll. I call her Vanessa. Whew. Give you chills. Surf's Up reference. The Tank. Best character in fiction. Up for debate. Up for debate. I am a big Tank fan, though. if you're not a fan of the tank. If you're like man, if you're like a Chicken Joe over the tank guy, just click off the video. Click off the video right now. Maverick, he's sick. Big Z, sick as heck. I also love Chicken Joe. Chicken Joe is sick as heck. None of them beat the tank. Eh, all around, greatest guy. So, go rewatch Surf's Up and tell me what you think of the tank in the comments. Because I love the tank. So, after that, I proceeded to make a platform and the killing chamber for the drowned farm. I then got real excited here, uh, talking to you guys about how toggle, while building, toggle on your crouch is super nice, but then to switch it off when you go back to fighting, I was on a beam talking about the toggle. Okay, I was going crazy building this thing. Thankfully, though, we were about to start lava casting, which makes me a very happy lad. So, what did we have to do? We had to get prepped for that. Build some dirt platforms around. You saw the lava, sneak peek, but I had to build some dirt, and I sounded pretty silly when I did it. I'm placing dirt. Yes, yes, you are placing dirt, Riley. Now you're placing lava. So that's pretty cool. Especially because I can't seem but act up a little bit around lava. Oh man, I've always thought lava casts were like the coolest thing ever. Hold on, can we get through it? That was so sick. I'm not gonna lie, I feel pretty sick. Phew, we made it back. Holy cow. I then proceeded to completely mess up the water cast by placing my scaffolding blocks of dirt way too close to the lava. I then realized my mistake. Did it correctly on the rest of the walls. But yeah, all we were doing was turning this into cobblestone, finishing out the walls on the side here. I did have to go back and fix the little mistakes that I made in the beginning, which was kind of a pain in the butt, but you'll see soon. This entire thing I kind of caused to be a pain in the butt for myself. You can see here, this is an example of me causing a pain in my own butt for no reason. After finishing that, I filled up the entire platform with water. We covered the top layer and then put in water so that it would create a bunch of source blocks. I say we, but it was just me. After that, I realized I should have put signs in before I put the water in. So now I'm making all of the signs and doors I may need to survive down here. But yeah, it took me like 45 minutes to an hour just to place these signs in because I did it while the water and the drowned were spawning. So I had to fight for my life while I was placing the water, while I was placing the signs. Finally got them all placed, got to place the water down, and then was finishing up this final section here when this chicken decided to be in my way. So I ended him and finished the stinking farm. We were able to now go down, finish up the little platform at the bottom here, extend it out a little bit. I uh, I will fix that little chest area where the crafting table is at. I swear to you. Give it a little test, see if it's all working. It was. So I pop a little chest down here because I knew it would drive you guys crazy if I didn't show you guys that. And I wait here, repair my shovel for a bit. Come back home, and we have finally got all the Nautilus shells to make a conduit. Oh my god, it felt so good. Oh, like 2 days later, after getting the Heart of the Sea, we finally made the conduit. I pulled my prismarine out, and it was time to place this thing down. Look, I was all excited about mending my shovel. I was like, "Oh, I have a little XP farm now." But if I'm honest, I think I've only used that XP farm or used it as an XP farm like twice. So, I come around to the front. This is where the dock area is going to be, and I get ready to place my conduit kind of in the front here. Dude, conduit is powered. Oh man, I haven't had conduit power in so long. Why haven't I been doing this more often? This is so nice. And it was really nice. I absolutely adore the conduits. I'm definitely going to be getting more of them. But what you're seeing now you are seeing me getting ready to make some regen potions. I also made a strength potion to get ready to fight the Wither. Ooh, yeah, we're gonna fight it up and get us a beacon. Finally, getting all the preparations in check to start building. Well, I forgot to record, but I did the underground method. I used a strength 2 potion, had a regen potion going. Wasn't too bad overall. Would do again, which is good because I will have to. But now it's time to make a beacon finally. Heck yes. Now that we've got the beacon, ooh baby, we are going to be collecting some stuff. So I went home and I finally crafted my beautiful little beacon. Now that it was beacon time, it was going to be so much nicer to get the deep slate that is going to be covering much of the harbor build, or the docks area at least. So after getting all that going, this is the second time that I use the farm as kind of an XP farm, because I wanted to heal up my dang pickaxes. I was going to be doing a ton of mining of deep slate, so I needed to have the healthiest pickaxes possible. Along with getting these mass amounts of deep slate, I would also need a large amount of mossy cobble and mossy stone bricks, so getting a vine farm in check kind of made a little bit more sense to me to do before I started my big mining excursion. I kind of wanted that to be more one of the final things that I had to do. So I started scouting out areas and thought this looked alright to be able to build the start of a little vine farm. I started clearing out the area a bit, flattening it out so that I could see what I was working with, and ended up building something pretty cool. So I took a semi-automated design and I made it worse. Because I made it have to be even less automated. The idea is you sit in the vine farm, you're pushed around, and all you have to do is hold the shears. I ended up getting an efficiency set of shears once it all started producing at like the maximum rates, because it just allowed me to mine all 4 rows of vines at one time. Ended up getting all of the vines I could ever possibly need super fast. And now finally, I was able to actually get to mining some deep slate. I mined all the way down to bedrock, a little bit far. So I pulled it back up a little bit. And it was time to finally place down my beacon and get some haste 2 going up. So I mine out a little space, I pop down my beacon, start making it up. And everything's going good. I get it all placed down and everything, and then I check it. It doesn't work. I'm like, what? Why is I did all 4 rows. I checked the lengths. I checked everything. So I just start mining into the beacon because I'm like, I'm over this. I need to know why this thing is just not working for me. I check it out. I go in. And what do I find? But a little hole, a single block of iron that I forgot to not put in there, that I missed. Messing up my whole scheme right now. Messing up my whole system. Who was it? It was that meddling block of iron. And so I check it again. Finally, back up to haste 2 now. We are able to get some super fast mining going. Now, it was sweet. I was able to get a ton of deep slate diamonds, some deep slate redstone, a little bit of deep slate gold, but all sorts of different goodies. You'll see here. Look at that speed. Phew. I ended up getting all the tuft that I would need, or tuft? Yeah, just tuft blocks that I would need down here as well while I was mining. And then I just flew out of here. I returned to bed that night, stoked to finally have all of my deep slate, ready to keep going, getting preparations done. Waking up the next morning, I decided I should use this beacon to terraform a little bit more of this area out a little bit. And so I wanted to use that Instamine and get all of the stone that I would need for stone bricks and all that. Just make sure that I had more than enough. So I decided I'd take down this part of the mountain that I didn't finish terraforming yet. And I spent the rest of the day mining this mountain down until about the nighttime. I think it took me like 2 days to finish terraforming this. But honestly, it was kind of worth it because at the end of it, it looked pretty good on the side, and I had all of the cobblestone and stone that a man could possibly need for this build. As you can see here, oh, I'm flexing it off a little. You can see. Yeah, don't get jealous. I get it. Everyone's wanting my cobble. Every, I shouldn't. Okay, I'm gonna stop talking. Okay, I can't not talk, or that would make for a pretty crappy video. So I checked out my area. It was looking good. I went to sleep, and the next day, it was ready to start actually building some of the harbor, placing some blocks down. Don't talk about my netherrack little bridge to get my villagers upstairs, okay? I destroy it. I'll get rid of it, I promise you. But not yet. Not yet, because I didn't know if I was going to use it again. So as I come around the side here, you'll see the actual schematic that I have uploaded onto the world. So what I usually do for these larger scale builds, now that I'm able to, is I will go into a creative test version of the same world so that I have like the same terrain that I'm using. And then I'll build out my main design on the same terrain that is going to be in the survival world so I can get kind of a better idea of how it will fit into the actual world. And then I'll design it out, build it all out into the creative test world. Once I have that, I'm able to use the schematic to actually take that build and bring it into my survival mode world as a saved file like you guys see. And then I'm able to just place in the blocks that are I've already placed down. So I have a really good idea of what I'm building already. It comes in really handy too when I'm playing with friends because I'm able to send them schematic files for the actual build, which then allows them to have a lot better of an idea of what we're building together so they can see the final picture of what we're putting blocks down both at the same time for. It makes it really fun for people who don't do a lot of designing in Minecraft, but really want to help build still. Now, after placing most of the blocks for the actual harbor area, we have finished kind of like the top portion here. Haven't gotten any of the lights in yet, but we will be working on that in the future. I haven't really decided at this point what lights I wanted to use. We also needed to complete the actual bottom section, so the parts in the water that go all the way down to the sea floor. This part of the schematic isn't going to show it going all the way down, but it will, once finalized, go all the way to the sea floor on all sides. Right now, we've got to finish some part of the right side and then get to the actual underwater section. So let's get to it. Finishing up the underwater section on most of the areas. Um, I just had the railings to finish up, and at this point I was starting to very much regret kind of doing anvils for my railings. They do look good. I like the look of them, and I've never done it before because of how expensive it is. And thank goodness my iron farm broke after I got all of the iron for the anvils. Because for some reason, after going back to my iron farm, after placing all these, it just didn't work anymore. It's just not producing any iron. So I think my design is a little bit outdated. Therefore, we're going to have to fix that in a future video. But right now, we're going to keep placing this railing down because it is looking snazzy. Dang snazzy. So I finished it up, and then decided to give it a little fly to see how it was all looking. I am super proud of getting this area done, though. Well, not. What the heck? Get away! Get away! Ah! This is ridiculous. No! Good grief. So after reclaiming my harbor from the creepers, I wanted to flex off some of my materials here. Yeah, yeah, take a look. Your boy did some material gathering. And so now I was so ready to actually start building the building of the shipyard. Like the shipyard building. I don't know what they call a shipyard building. I should have looked it up before I made this video, but I'm going in uninformed and I've been enjoying it. I've been enjoying my ignorance, very much so, and we're going to keep enjoying it as we keep placing these blocks. I think I'm just going to do a little bit of a time lapse of these blocks, but as we were building here, I kind of wanted to. I was talking a little bit while I was doing it about inspiration and just where people get it from and how I feel like a lot of people I've met are embarrassed to say that they took inspiration from somewhere or something is inspired by something else. And I think it's really silly because I think the best things that are made are because people were inspired by other works that people have created or inspired by things that they've seen in real life or just anything really. But I think that people get really worried about being original in that if they take inspiration from something, then it's taking away from their own originality. I don't really see it that way at all, though. I think when you're inspired by something, you see it as something that you can take in and actually put into yourself. And then once you actually have solidified the ideas that you've been able to replicate from others, you can then have a deeper wellspring of knowledge to kind of like build from when you're actually performing some sort of creative endeavor. So understanding the way that other people produce their art or understanding the ways that different things work is instead of just doing it completely on your own, taking inspiration from places before you actually go out and do it for the first time, or even while you're doing it later on, I think is the most one of the biggest things that a lot of people are really scared to do, especially now that we see like a lot of different AI that's taking inspiration, but that's not in a human way. I'm trying to say you take it in a human way and adapt it to your own styles and your own abilities. But I keep yapping. As we see here, I was finishing placing the actual building structure. I finished the entire bottom, which was going to be stone, and then I needed some more dark oak, which I had thought I grabbed enough of, but obviously not. So I went ahead and grabbed some dark oak, grabbed some more, finished out the actual building sections of the harbor area, and then I had finally gotten to the point where I could do the roofs. Now, these roofs weren't too crazy special or anything, but just something I wanted to mention was on some of these, there were solid blocks that I used, and those can be like spawn points for mobs. So, something that I did, and that you can do too on some of your builds, is just leaving some holes to place light blocks into. And then I just used carpet later on to then kind of cover up all of those holes. You'll see them in just a second. You can see them on the roof across here. I left some holes in the top there to make sure that the top was all lit up, but you can see those holes on the sides and in the middle area as well. But here we have finally the basically full exterior without all the decorations and everything completed. So as you can probably tell, the exterior was not totally complete. And I basically had built a very large mob farm on top of my pretty harbor area. And it kind of meant it was time for some lighting. All right. Well, we have basically completed the exterior of the harbor area. We just need some lighting because it is quite dark. It is not lit up. There are lots of mobs over here. But I need to get some frog lights because I do not feel like sea lanterns for this build. I think frog lights are going to be way cooler. But see, I have a creeper party inside of the house.
Now it's frog light time!
And the warm frog gives us the pearlescent frog light, which has a bit of, I would say, a purplish color. What do you think?
Okay. I need to breed some frogs, and I need their tadpoles. So I then got some frogs. There we go. Why are you guys over here? This isn't even the swamp. This is so far from the dang swamp. Next, I bred the frogs. Oh yeah. Finally, I messed up the frogs. No. Tell me you guys just saw that. Tell me. Tell me. Oh my god. Oh my gosh. Well, I don't really understand the frogs, I guess. Shoot. Tadpoles! Tadpoles! Oh my goodness. They're adorable. Oh, they're so precious. After collecting all the tadpoles that I would need, I decided it would be just a good idea to get all the different colors of frogs, just since I was doing it already. So I flew out to a desert biome, popped my frogs down, raised these buddies up with some slime balls to make it nice and quick, and then I ended up with a bunch of pretty white frogs that I got to take home. You guys better calm down. After raising up all my little frog babies, it was time to boat on home with them strapped to some leads. Let's go. I then got slightly too excited for this coral biome. And I should be able to just boat myself all the way home. Oh my gosh, there's a coral area over here? Let's go! I've been wanting a coral area. Oh, I didn't even notice that. That's fantastic. Let's go. Awesome. Sweet, dude. Oh man, I'm gonna steal so much of that coral. Oh man. Heck yeah. The only reason I could think I'd want coral is for TNT dupers. But anyways, I went to a snow area right near my house and made some of the green frogs, which are my absolute favorite of the variations. They're adorable. And now frogs. Yeah, we got some. I then went back over to the swamp to collect as many of the little orange buddies as I wanted. I had 5 of them, 5 of the white frogs from the hot area, and then I had 10 of the cool green frogs from the cold biome. We've definitely got some frogs. We are creating a frog life farm. Not a crazy one to start with, a pretty chill one. Pretty tame. So if you're unfamiliar, the idea of a frog light farm is to get magma slimes or magma cubes to get into the smallest version of themselves, which can then be eaten by frogs, and that's how you get frog lights, is whenever one of the smallest slimes is eaten by a frog. The goal being, if we can efficiently break the large magma cubes into the smallest ones and then have them eaten by the frogs, we'll have a pretty decent frog light count. Now, the first version didn't work. The second version here also wasn't working after I had expanded the opening a bit. So I went back down again and I opened up the opening a little bit more, the kill chamber a little bit more. After this, the actual largest size were able to get trapped in here as well. I did have to place some powdered snow in to be able to trap and kill the largest and medium-sized slimes. You'll see only 2 rows here. I ended up going back and placing all 4 rows in the future. Now it was simply time to bring the frogs in. I'm sorry, Froggy, but if worse comes to worse, I will try to protect you, but... Worst came to worst. Oh, that's not good. It was definitely not the best, but thankfully I was pretty close to my first base and my first portal, which led me directly to my stuff. So I was able to grab everything again and then jump into a fight between a skeleton and a wither skeleton. But as they say, if at first you don't succeed, try and try again. So you go through on your own? That's the kind of frog you want to be? Fair enough, dude. We're gonna go then. Taking it a little bit slower this time was seeming to work. I was on fire, so I checked behind me. My frog was somehow still there. We kept running. We had almost made it. Flying in, I saw enemies. Tons of magma cubes. Standing by, ready to attack, and then I lost sight of the frog. I was unsure where he went. I couldn't tell. My lead was leading down. Was he in the hole? I got hit in. We did it. We got one in here. I was finally able to place some frog lights. And here's the shout out for the farm. I got this farm design from a 1.19, 1.20 farm design made by, the video I watched at least, was made by No Tis Me Sween Pie. Crazy channel name. No Tis Me Sween Pie, like senpai, notice me. But it's spelled NOTISMESWEENPAI. Wow. That's a crazy one. But their version didn't work completely on here. Basically what it does is it brings the spawned magma cubes close to the iron golem. Then the iron golem breaks the magma cubes into the smaller ones. The smaller ones continue to come into here, and then, well, he only is able to break them into the middling stage, like this size. And then once they're that size, then you are able to use the powdered snow to make them all. Oh my goodness, to make them disappear. Holy crud. I must protect my frogs. Please be taking up the mob cap, boys. Come on, come on. Yes. Yes, let's go, let's go. Let's go, come on. Come on, froggy babies. Come on, froggy babies. No way. Yes way. There was no way I was going to be building a second nether portal and linking it just to bring frogs through. Once I saw that I could make it work, even if I died, oh, I was making it work. And it worked a charm. I got all my colors of frog lights. Now, after achieving my greatest frog light desires and placing them all in, I needed to build out the actual underneath section of the harbor area because I hadn't designed any of it. And I planned on making it pretty useful, pretty functional. So I started with an automatic wool farm right here that I was going to make. Just have some different colors. I thought it would come in useful for having to make the sails of the different ships later on. So I ended up finding a design that I've used in the past that I knew worked really well. Just using some dispensers, observers, and shears. Basically just checks any updates on the dirt. Then whenever it checks those updates from, say, like the sheep eating the grass, it will then activate the dispenser, which will automatically shear the wool from the sheep. And you're able to get the stuff going through the block, because what I'm going to do is place a hopper minecart underneath the observer. So that's going to then collect the wool from the system and pop it right into a hopper into a chest. So it's a really pretty simple farm design. You're able to connect a bunch of them in tandem next to each other. So it makes it a pretty nice farm to have, especially when you're in need of a lot of different types of wool. Only problem is you will probably need an iron farm because it takes a heck of a lot of shears to finish this one. You'll be able to see my little impromptu sheep farm that I made so that I could get all of these little babies filling up my actual automated farm. Now, I really hope you guys can spot the mistake that I'm about to make before I make fun of myself for it. But if not, it'll be coming up, I promise you. To get these guys into the actual pods, we're going to take them, use a little bit of wool, or a little bit of wheat, I mean, bring them as close as they'll come over to the actual area, and then use a little bit of a push to just get them into that hole, a little bit of a nudge into each area, trapping them in, and now they are happy as clams. Here's where I messed up. I didn't put any dye on them while they still had wool, so I had to wait for the perfect timing. Colored, so cool. The grass, little buddy. There we go. Yeah. Finally, after getting all of them dyed, I was able to finish the exterior portion of this farm, finalizing it, and getting ready for the next farm that I had planned for the area right behind this one. I finished color coding the wool farm here, and then cleaned up a little bit of the temporary farm that I had created to fill up all of the cubbies. After that, I took just a moment to look over the area that I was going to be planting my sugarcane farm for. Having both the Witch and the Iron Farm made making a grandiose sugarcane farm, or at least somewhat large scale sugarcane farm, so much more of an easy task than it would have been without having both of those farms previously made. So I can't recommend enough starting with a villager and an iron farm. Computer kept crashing after a new Windows update, but if we come through here, we've got a new underneath the harbor area. So we've got our sheep farm. You're gonna find all of your wool. This used to be a purple sheep, don't mind that. But you're going to find all your wool here. You got them automatically being sheared. And then you have the ability to go refill any of these from the back. And then here we've got our nice sugarcane farm. So that is working nicely. Ooh, there we go. Watch it disappear. Boom! Alright, going right into the farm. Well, hello again. So, my computer crashed. And, it kept crashing. And I've been dealing with a bunch of issues with it. But we've gotten it to a point where after losing all of my recordings from yesterday, and the night before, we're at a point where the harbor is nearly finished. Well, this harbor building is finally nearly finished. We simply need to finish the interior and the crane on the outside of here. Still a bit barren on the inside. But if we come up here, ooh, we have a nice little path. Coming in here, we'll go through the front room first. I love this painting. This is such a good painting. But this is like the main room where all of the people at the shipyard would like do out all their drawings and stuff. All their orders of different materials and everything. Then underneath here, we've got our actual material area where we hold a lot of the stuff that we move onto ships. Different wood types and whatnot. We come back here. I haven't finished this area, but it's going to be like a little fishing shack, fish shack. Got a little aquarium here. A little seating area. Some more seating in here. And a nice little patio outdoor area. Then if we go upstairs here, got a nice little bedroom. This is where my new sleeping quarters are. If we go outside, come out to the crane. I stole this design. This is a design from someone on YouTube. If you just look up Minecraft crane, you will find this design as like the second or third option. Or like if you look up harbor crane, we can then enter this room, which is unfinished still. I want to add some more of these chests over on this side, some bookshelves on here, and I was thinking some more chests on the inside of here, give myself a little temporary storage space. But yeah, I'm very happy with this. And then now it's becoming night too. Oh, we can show off the lights, the froggy lights. As we're doing one final flyby, I just want to say thank you for watching, if you've gotten this far. And I wanted to show you guys kind of what I was inspired by as a big design contributor to this build here. I wanted to show you guys since we were talking about that inspiration earlier. Now, once again, thank you so much for watching. I'm wanting to make a bunch more videos showing the entire development of this world as I keep playing through it. And I want to take you guys with me and show everybody how it turns out. I was really inspired by a few friends of mine, a friend of mine, Mia, and a friend of mine, Mike. They really inspired me to just start recording and putting stuff out there. So big shout out to both of them. Great people, both of them. But thank you again for watching, and like and subscribe if you enjoyed. Take care.